what's written on the wall translates to bicycle repair?
Yes, because top is, well, repair, and then bicyclette. So
Yes.
not rocket science. Oh, my Italian is kind of rusty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to what we will see in this showdown. We've got we got to run down through all the names again. Okay, Ryu, Tui, I think. Ryu. Okay. Okay,
Yes.
you're gonna go
Tool,
Ryu.
Ryu, Tool, Awas, Tak, and Sedivo.
Is that an N? I thought that was an I, because everything is in capital letters.
Yeah. I think it's meant for stylistic reasons. You know, Tui doesn't really make too much sense. Tool, though, that makes a lot of sense. But yes, regardless, all-stars are going to be starting off on the terrorist side. Now, let's see if they can actually power through in the same fashion that I was expecting previously. Smoke's going at a double brackets. Flashbang as well, allowing them to move in towards Arches. Tool already getting the frag in. And I think you might be right about that Tui bit, because if you look at the kill feed, it's Tui and it's not Tool, since it's all lowercase.
Yep. Okay, so Tui. Gotta remember that name. Quick rush out towards the bomb site, though. And a big bit, SXE gets a kill secured. Bomb plant coming in. Now, Ryu has to go for the 1v2. Clutch has a kit, so that's a big plus. Even has a flash if he wants to. Oh, this is creeping. Pass enemy line, spots him out, gets a first against SXE, but SXE wins out the duel, and that's going to be all-stars with the opening pistol. Actually, they have 3 players that used to play it, because SXE, MHN, and Sound used to play in.
Yeah, in Nexus.
Yeah, in Nexus. God, so many Romanian players out there that have been, because that's yeah, okay, they probably have the way stronger team then. I thought they only had 2 players, but I didn't realize that they also had MHN playing in the roster.
Yeah, it's something I briefly mentioned in the pregame. MHN actually, I believe he also sided with Sound or SXE in the Game Agents roster. So there's a fair bit of synergy that they've been able to build up, and I do expect this to be pretty much be a wash-up once more. But at least they can get a few deagle shots before they start to subside. Always actually got quite a bit of work done, and now as the bomb goes down, these deagles can still be put to work. So Devo, he's got full HP, he's got Kevlar to work with, but this smoke is going to be a thorn in their side. One from brackets, one from arches. And as the smoke fades, now they start to carve out an opportunity for themselves. Devo, his feet have been spotted, eventually falls, and that just leaves Ryu. Picked up an AK-47. FNK, he's been spotted, and LastWind, they can actually bring it all back together as soon as the second round commences.
Also, I don't know how we missed it, but that previous round was an ace for SXE. Just want to mention that because he's on 8 kills in 2 rounds, so that's not a bad start. But yeah, he did manage to get the ace, so my apologies for accidentally missing that factor, considering we are very much looking towards well, how these 2 teams are performing right now and finding the intricate details about their performances so far. But of course, that round secured by LastWind. We are now tied up 1-1, but a tech pause coming out means hopefully the issues that they have will be resolved momentarily.
Where I previously thought that this was going to be a one-sided affair like Blue Jays versus Croatia, LastWind are willing to take it the distance. The fact that they can immediately start things off with a Desert Eagle round among all things, this is definitely going to put on some pressure for all-stars with regards to their longevity in this tournament. Now, I do want to look at the LastWind setup, however. Do they go for early aggression on Banana? No, they just go for a smoke and a Molotov, so their approach to taking Banana is actually going to be quite conservative. Early smoke onto barrels so that nobody can peek through with a scoped rifle. Nobody can comfortably defend Banana. But it is going to be a mowdown with from the side of Tak, the 16-year-old talent that is able to hold down the wire all to his lonesome.
Yeah, though there's going to be a bounce forward towards the A site. It's currently empty. There is a player towards A long, but with the smoke planted, there's nothing that he can do. The bomb should go down. And the 3-on-3 ensues, though Sound getting spotted just the shoulder to be taken down by Ryu. And a 3-on-2 retake with kits, with a bit of utility as well for the CT side, should be definitely doable. But MHN right behind the smoke, waiting for it to dissipate. Mac Daddy in hand. Trying to go ham towards the long position. Ryu gets taken down. The push coming out. FNK, another one coming through, and it's all on a 1v1. But the bomb is not really planted in the greatest position. Cvito doesn't have a kit though, but he's sticking it. The full defuse coming out. Full 10 seconds on the bomb. Manages to just barely get it done. FNK, he got bamboozled in the process. Tried to play it ice cold, but seems to have played it a little bit too ice cold.
Is there a chance that we see All-Stars lose out to a team like LastWind? Because obviously we don't expect them to be as heavy hitters. I really like the positioning that LastWind had. Attack being boosted up on the shelter, of course, made it much easier for him to get those frags. And it did end up catching All-Stars by surprise, but getting the defuse in the nick of time, good enough for them. Technical pause, though, to come out once more. We're going to be waiting to find out how that is going to be resolved. But in the meantime, we get a chance to look at LastWind's economy. Although they end up winning the round, they lose all of their players in the process, and that leaves us with a very shoddy economy. So if All-Stars want to turn things around, they can immediately do that just because of the fact that they can have matched up weaponry, even if they just buy Galils. They have a smoke thrown in there, you've got a couple flashes. Suddenly, you find yourselves on the same height of a podium as your opposition, even though they were the ones winning rounds.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tough affair. That's, of course, the downside of playing on the CT side. That's always the weigh-ins that you need to make. Of course, these days it's a little bit easier with the M4A1S buff. That it is slightly cheaper in that regard, but it's still fairly expensive considering the cost, molly prices, and kits on top of everything. So, if they can keep your economy low, they just need to win one round, and then they immediately force you on towards an eco. And at that point, they can just start to steamroll, and that's something that LastWind need to make sure that doesn't come through.
Heading into round number 4. Do All-Stars still have a player disconnected? Has he come back on the server? Yeah, I think we're going to have to see a round reset for sure. No way they allow this, since no damage has been taken, and you can already see the ticks flowing into the chat. Even though we can't really see it, we can still hear it. We kind of have an idea that there's a discussion going on among the players.
Yeah, hopefully these technical issues won't be a thing for much longer. It's always, well, just not great for anyone involved. Technical issues coming through, though there's always some very fun ones to witness. My favorite one is the fact that, you know, someone breaks their monitor, for instance. I've had that happen twice. Well, as you see, there's his nice little ace in the round. Now is on that deagle. Also being a nuisance to get his CT side on towards that win. So there seems to be some sound issues going on the All-Star side, so someone is restarting their PC to fix it, and that's the technical issue that we have right now. So yeah, that's a quick restart. Everyone has SSDs these days anyway, so it shouldn't take much longer.
I mean, listen, if they want their PC to be a bit faster, if they want to access it early, if they want access to it early on when they have internet issues or sound issues or whatever, if they had one of those Intel processors, I think that would make life easier for sure.
Yeah, or, well, any other pieces. Also an SSD available in the giveaway for on the CEE Champions website. If you go below the stream, there is a banner that you can press to join the giveaway, and there's some amazing prizes amongst it. You've got some skins, you've got some games, Intel merch, gaming mouse, gaming keyboard, headphones, SSD of a 1 terabyte SSD, and a 32 gig RAM piece, and of course that very, very, very good Intel Core processor. And that is, well, to be fair, very overkill for playing CSGO.
Well, we do seem to have everybody on the server now, so we are going to be heading into the game very soon. Tactical pause no longer an issue. But we get a chance to look at the economy. Previously, LastWind actually bought up an AWP, so I don't expect their approach to be any different. I think Tak is going to drop over an AWP once again, as he did to Abbas before. Yeah, once again, you can see that AWP already on the ground.
Well, let's get to see that AWP roundup because, well, that's just... I just love watching Offers perform. There's a T-Scout, though. And on a map like Inferno, there are some... You don't necessarily always win the fight because you have an AWP, especially if you're going to go for that long peek through towards T-Ramp, that little one-way angle. It's a nasty duel to take, and you got to be very careful if you're Awez on what angle he wants to wield the big green. Right now, allStars Gaming, they went for that full investment, which is still a shoddy buy, but it is going to be even shoddier with the scout drop to the dirt because Awez starts it up with an opening pick on the AWP. Pretty quick flick to manage to get that man advantage, and nothing found by sound.
I want to see how allStars make the adjustment to losing a very important player early on in the process of getting control. Smokes are now towards Arches. Oh, Abbas has actually been able to find a bit of a crack, but SXC immediately punishes him for that prospect. Now heading on to A. They've still got a minute on the clock, heading into brackets, smoking a library actually. So the scooter smoke will allow them to easily move in. Just worry about these individual duels, and Tak doesn't even get a chance to respond. A first man down, and they're looking for the second one within that side, but no, the first shot's been missed. Hui immediately loses life because he cannot capitalize on the first few seconds that they expose themselves on the bomb site. Numbers dialed in. Ryu and Sadivo now on recovery duty.
Yeah, just save those FAMASs in towards the next round. Will be a force up from their end anyway, considering they'll only have about $1,500 to work with in that regard. So all things considered, allStars Gaming forcing them towards a force up. Game still fairly close, but yeah, not a round that LastWind would have liked. They pretty much got... I mean, the opening pick was nice, but then afterwards they just got torn apart, missed their shots. Got surprised on the A-bomb side. Now we have a tied scoreline. We're only 4 rounds in. This map is still very young.
Now, it might look like the game is relatively even right now, but allStars have a massive advantage with how their economy is going to unfold. LastWind could have gone for the option of using the 2 hero Fama setup, although I don't think they're particularly heroic. They could have had that kind of setup going on and still allowed themselves to buy up in the next round, but they've actually doubled down entirely, and they'll be relying on these deagles to carve themselves out a better situation. If this doesn't work out, it's a gamble that will leave them in shambles with regards to their money for the next couple of rounds. But let's see how this banana control is going to work out for them. 2 players tucked into sandbags, and they are going to be washed. Perfect flashbang. Ryu will take away the head of Fame. Chen Sadivo chimes in as well. So that is a tag team duo making quick work of the players around banana.
Especially the fact that FNK is also down to 6 HP. Of course, gets the AWP in the process. But man advantage for the CT side. 3 Deagles, a FAMAS is all they have. But honestly, that is tends to be enough most of the time if you've got a man advantage. And allStars creeping towards that A bomb site. That AWP missed shot and always fades away from the angle. Well, it looks like it's going to be that A side hit. However, there's still 2 CTs lying in wait. Into its bomb site. 2E comes through as well. White bouncing in, but there's Alves again on the Deagle. So solid in his clutches. The round picked up for LastWind. And yeah, just a couple of pistols and the 2 FAMAS is enough to secure the round. They save an AK, they save a Galil, and they save the round. Forcing allStars now in their own force up.
And that's a gamble that ended up working out for them. Where I was narrating stories of how this would potentially turn into a double eco, essentially, for LastWind, it didn't. Because their gamble pays off, now they actually end up getting a Galil, they get an AK-47. They save so much money on resources simply because they're able to save a fair bit. And instead, you see allStars starting to struggle with their own economy. 3 AKs, they've got a MAC-10 in there, they've got a Desert Eagle, but if they lose this one, you're suddenly going to start seeing them shaking in their boots a little bit. Nice off angle. That's going to leave a mark. Emma Chen taking a few bullets to the kneecap. 3 players at the ready from the LastWind roster if you consider the A site, but most of the attention I think is going to be going to B because they know that they've got a free opening here.
Yeah, CEE just walks in, gets himself both entries. They smoke off deep towards CT, and the remaining LastWind players just going to save their rifles, which is, of course, the correct play to make in this situation. And it will be, well, trading rounds constantly, with possibly a bit of a hunt coming out. I would say just put MHN on that MAC-10 to go for some kills, probably. Could also try and keep it alive in towards the next round, but they will still have a couple of rifles to work with on the LastWind side. And some extra money on Ryu. It won't be the worst buy on their end, but it won't be the greatest either. At least make sure that their guns stay alive, and the round is picked up. allStars Gaming, we are tied up again. 6 rounds in towards the game, and both these teams are not letting go of each other. They won't let the enemy get an advantage going forward. Trading blows constantly, and that means that, you know, by those statistics, it should probably go in favor of LastWind right now.
Previously, one of these teams was being forced to be put into an economical gambit, right? Because LastWind, obviously, they ended up going for a full commitment, but this time they're actually going to be quite even. You see that they're all around that $2,000 mark with regards to how their average money is. And both teams aren't too worried about losing control of their economy, but this is a prime opportunity for them to set themselves up for a better future within this half. Alves is going to take advantage of the fact that one of these players is easy to isolate here. Because allStars, they don't have a 2-player setup. They're not really playing tag team duty here.
I mean, Alves has been doing most of the work so far, especially with that Deagle. First, in the second round, honestly, both rounds that they managed to clutch out with a very solid disadvantage. LastWind really have to thank him for his kills, for his performance in that regard. And now with the man advantage, heading towards that B bomb site. They do have 2 CTs in the area, but the problem is both of them only have Deagles to work with, and that could be problematic and a possible free site to be obtained for the allStars lineup. Oh, pushing through the smoke. That's always a scary. And there, Eagle finds it first. And the second for the 8k of White, though, and now it's a 3-on-3 retake of the B-bomb site. Still very doable for the CT side, but now that White keeps on finding more kills, it might be a bit of a moment to reconsider. Oh,
now
that
because
is...
of how oh yeah, that could have been a little bit more damage coming out from TAC if they had positioned themselves a bit better, but regardless, since this 2v1 is probably not going to be his cup of tea, we could have seen a little more from LastWind had they had a preemptive rotation, but right now allStars, they're going to be able to corner LastWind's economy. You won't be seeing a decent buy coming out from them in the next round because neither team has had a loss bonus built up. 4-3, allStars, they start to take the lead little by little. You know, they've got $6,000 in the bag on average now. And if you're playing on the disadvantageous side on the terrorist, that obviously is a lot more than just getting the lead on its own.
I mean, White just tore that site apart. Quad kill secured in the round. And LastWind got decimated. Now another bit of a semi-buy. Of course, previous round, they didn't fully invest. That's why they've got some extra cash to work with. You lose this round. I mean, you got a full buy coming in with a ops, possibly even a double op setup if you want to. But the name of the game currently is just try to do as much damage to that T economy as possible. Make sure that they have to reinvest in towards those AKs, possibly even the AWP. MHN though, it's the allStars Deagle. I really not like to take duels against him specifically.
Yeah, you expect this round to be relatively one-sided. I mean, the last player remaining, he's only got a USB. But other than that, I think allStars have done an excellent job at consistently pressuring the brackets area. And I feel like they'll continue to do that. Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit under the weather actually. You can probably see me trying to hold back a cough just because, well, weather's not really been kind where I live.
Well, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And Christmas is still too far away. Let it see us go, let it see us go, let it see us go. Let's see if allStars can continue on the performance after this technical pause, because we are riddled with these tech pauses. Well, deity. Sorry for my weird singing.
Yeah, I wasn't actually sure if that was singing or if it was a recital or if you were trying to like prepare for an exam at this point with how monotone it was.
Hey, I never said I was a grand singer. Plus, you know, I just have to sing some
You never
Britney
said you were a
Spears or
terrible
something.
one either, but you know, you got me by surprise
Ouch.
regardless.
The pain, it hurts indeed. Ooh, allStars on the op, finds himself the entry, aggressively peeking through towards second mid. That's some confidence I like to see in an opper. Bounce coming in. The smoke, however, big fat gap to work with, and White abuses it perfectly. They're rushing through the smoke. Ryu's still hiding on the other side.
No, they're not checking it. He could have done a lot more with that, but now the buttons are going to be pushed in. That's allStars having full control of the site, but they've still got 3 members to deal with hopping right in. They've got an AWP in the hands of allStars that significantly limits his mobility heading into the site. And this Molotov, it doesn't make things any easier either. As the fires are roaring, they want to find a way to carve their boots onto the B site. Tui deploying some utilities, smoking out Banana, Molotov to clear out Dark. Now they've got fewer angles to deal with, but the swing is perfectly timed by MHN. Utilizes his teammate as bait just to be able to get 2 kills from the back line, and now he's not peeking. Eventually gets caught by allStars, but it's not going to matter because the time is ticked down, and the story has already been written. White willing to give up his life here.
allStars as well, both blowing up and making sure nothing gets saved in the round, which, well, of course, does keep the allStars economy not in the greatest position. Of course, they still had some money to work with, so that won't be too problematic. But honestly, LastWind, they need to start winning some rounds. Considering they're on the CT side of Inferno, you need to build at least something on your side. Again, a technical pause coming in. I have no idea what is plaguing these players right now. This is getting a bit out of hand. Oh,
I'm not exactly sure what the issues are on the side of. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, the tech pause was cancelled and now it's back. It's like, okay. Kick the PC, come on. I did like in the previous round that ours went aggressive second mid peak with the AWP, but I think most of like what LastWind are pretty much banking on is the fact that LastWind is doing most of the work. Ours is doing most of the work, and those are the rounds that they got close / won, where Ours gets himself those deagle kills and finds those entries. But you need the rest of the team to step up and back up your offer as well, if you want to take down the allStars Gaming roster, who of course have way more experience than the LastWind team.
I'm not exactly sure if the player's been called in now. Yeah, I think the PC issues have been resolved, so we'll be heading straight into the game. 15 seconds on the clock as the game resumes. Now, Truman, listen, hear me out. I feel like this can still be a very... Oh my god, another technical timeout. But listen, hear me out. I feel like this can still be as one-sided of a game as the previous one was, because, come on. There's 3 rounds on the LastWind side, there were 3 rounds on Croatia as well, so, hey, the chance is still there. Whether or not allStars Gaming capitalize on it, that's a different story. That's a different conversation to be had between you and I and between the teams. But if we are going to look at the individual performances, CEE has really been knocking it out of the park. I mean, you've got 14 kills on the man, and he's done it on the terrorist side out of all things.
Yeah, he's finding those nice entries.
Yeah, I think whoever's cat got stuck in the computer, I think it's finally meowed its way out. Now we get a chance to return to the game, but LastWind, before they can actually get into the swing of things, they are going to have to just put their big boy pants on and muster the courage to go through an eco round where they only have Desert Eagles. Ryu and Tak, at least they've got armor, so they are going to be a bit more competitive.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta find those quick ways in towards the game. Ooh, op shots flying past him from his own teammate. Even though that is the case, that is from your own teammate, I always get a little bit of a speed up in my heart rate when I see bullets fly by. Doesn't matter from who it comes through. However, Tak with the deagle, making sure we're at even Steven. SXE is down to 17 HP as well. There's still definitely a possibility, but White's AWP comes in, making sure Tak is out of the running. I was still alive. Now it's still a very scary prospect. Of Tui finding the deagle kill onto Sound. Now it's going to be pushed towards the A bomb site. And it's all onto C-Devo and Tui to hold the line. There's Tui with another deagle kill coming in. And this is looking problematic for the allStars lineup. They do still have bomb control, but he's pretty much huddled in towards short. Oh, spotted out, but that immediately gives away the information that B is empty. The fact that they know a player is in pit and the other one peeked towards short from the A bomb site, they know B's empty, we can rush there, make it a safe plant, play for a better situation in that regard. Tui does pick up the AWP, and this is honestly a tough call to make. Would you attempt the deagle op retake of the B bomb site, or would you just try and keep the AWP alive?
I think Tui probably wants to take that risk. I'm not exactly sure why. I think he was anticipating them going for a ballsy peak, and if he was
Oh
able
my
to
God.
capitalize on that, perhaps he would go for it
Oh my.
eventually. But no, he actually gets the worst of both worlds. You know, not going for the trade or not going for the duel, not going for the retake, and still getting caught in the back. That's not ideal at all. And
Yeah, but the
LastWind.
fact that he runs against two different objects, like he literally
Yeah, just
fumbles
bumping into
twice.
random stuff on the way.
Normally, I tend to see that pretty much only on like Ancient these days, because some people don't have the movement sorted yet on Ancient. But that was a little bit of a very unfortunate way to die. Oh, I was aggressive, love it, nice peek, White dead. And a man advantage again coming through for the CT side because of that opening pick, but Sound immediately finds the trade, and we are, well, back to a 4-on-4. We gotta make a play. They're gonna try and go for it. That's Ryu and Sidivo finding a 2-for-1. Advantageous bomb control in Banana now as well, and Tui hears the steps. Can go for the peek. This is big. Always gets a second in the round, and the final kill for Tui because he got the backstab on towards Sound. Another round finally back on the board for LastWind. It's been 5 consecutive for the All-Stars lineup before they finally got themselves in the winning ways again on LastWind.
If you're All-Stars Gaming, you're actually quite comfortable with the lead you've been able to generate, simply because only getting 8 to 9 rounds on the T side, it's good enough for them. They don't really need to have a light sap performance, although it would help if you're getting peaked by Tui like that. But a bit of control is going to come out. Yeah, go on then.
You still do have to be a little bit careful, because momentum can be a nasty tool if they manage to start winning. Well, the entire half from this point on, though. Sound quickly with the Mactan coming in. He's stuck in Big Pit, needs help, but Sound comes in. Another Mactan kill secured, picks up the AWP in the process. And long range, it is going all the way towards the All-Star Gaming side. Last 2 remaining CTs retaking this. It's not worth the risk considering their economy. There's an immediate hunt from FNK. Look at how aggressively he chases. The chicken gets fearful. Ryu with an absolutely stellar double.
Ryu actually might have made it reasonable for him. It's obviously asterisked by the fact that he's only got 27 points to work with, and he's going to be walking into crosshairs. Oh, shot missed. That's a chance, but he's not willing to take it. Ryu running away with an AK, knows that he can make a lot better happen when he's got that individually on that next round. But All-Stars, they've done an incredible job at keeping the leash well within their reach. And LastWind, they haven't looked too convincing. Now, I like their ability to make quick adjustments. Always obviously taking initiative with the AWP in the previous round showed us that they're willing to try to dismantle the default or catch All-Stars in between and execute. But it simply hasn't been enough initiative by individual players to really shake things up for All-Star. And that obviously does come down to a lot of individual fragging potential as well, but I would like to see some better macro level understanding where they go for combined pushes, because even now they're going for a very basic 3-2 setup that you would normally expect from a pug.
It's not too sublime for LastWind. Of course, with 1 AK and hours on the Deagle, you can still make a bit of magic happen. Ryu is trying to get aggressive. The AWP from White spots him out, but won't be able to find a kill secured. Bit of nade damage coming up with the pushes towards that A bomb site. And SXE is still a definite threat in this game, while Deity. Oof. White doesn't find the kill. The nade just off the mark, but eventually the kill will come through, and that's going to be the B bomb site secured, obtained, and annihilated for All-Stars. A 9-round scoreline at the very least on the T side of Inferno is definitely not a bad way to start off the map.
Is SXE just flexing at this point? I'm not sure if he was the one that got a one-tap or the player... Yeah, no, I don't think he got a one-tap there, but regardless. Tuck got a shot to shine. Anything they would have gotten would have just been for show anyway, so allStars gonna very easily hop on over to very reasonable territory when it comes to taking control of the game. I mean, you're on the terrorist side, you've got 9 rounds. If you're looking at it from the perspective of LastWind, you're suddenly in an economic spot where having any sort of dominance is going to be an exercise in futility simply because of how late it is within the half. But an AWP will come out. Always, he's going to sacrifice some utility just to be able to have that big difference maker within his reach. And allStars, they're going for their bread and butter play. Early control of either apartments or brackets, sending 3 players into banana. Oh, God, that was uncomfortable to watch because he's just headshotted at his own teammate. They didn't even have to do most of the work. 3 entry frags, but a third of them being done by the LastWind members themselves. Okay.
And SXE's 21-8 right now, just so confidently running it down, jumps in through, and they have no idea what hit them. This is domination coming through, and that just shows exactly how confident they are performing in their plays. But a 10-4 scoreline right now, oh, that's just so painful. Oh my God, that is just... You know, sometimes you just have bad luck. Well, quick early aggression does make it a 3-on-3. Still weapons A-okay for the T side. They're actually moving towards the A bomb site. There's currently... Rio might get the backstab going, but MHN opens up the A side completely. Hours towards mid, still lurking about. Famas in hand, but gets double peak. Both of them very low in HP. So this is still a winnable situation for Ryu. But with the utility coming out, they will at least keep him out of the bomb site for the time being. This is all about timing. He tries to creep in. Gets the bomb plant denied. He goes against MHN and the one tap to finish the round. That's going to be a 10-5 scoreline. Not the best for LastWind. Also not the worst. Definitely still recoverable, but they need to make that T side work perfectly.
But honestly, perfection is probably not something I expect from allStars. They've consistently been unable to show signs of aggression when it's required on their CT side. Any initiative that should have come through simply took way too much time, and although there were signs of brilliance from the LastWind roster, Abbas's individual aggression when it came to the AWP, some really good kills from Tuck, they were few and far between, just enough that I don't have too much faith in them. And allStars, see if they can continue their winning ways. Oh no, yeah, it's gonna be a wrap-up. Oh. They're making it look so easy, and the 18-year-old talent in the form of Sound is gonna get a 4K. Makes it look so easy.
Yeah, that was that was just straight up easy. That was, oh my lord, tapping away, no fear whatsoever, aggressively on the secondary pistol, and yeah, just Sound looked a player that has been rather, well, silent in the first half, but then again, why would you need him to step up when you already have SXE on 22 kills? You know, you got the rest of your team bailing you out, so there's not really the necessity to have everyone be on their A game. Well, LastWind going for the eco, making sure that they can afford a buy in the next round, but because of that factor, they completely got overwhelmed by the SMGs, and that is easy money making for the allStars gaming lineup. Look at that cash already in their bank accounts. LastWind will be affording those AKs going forward, and it's going to be, well, close to the last round. You lose this round, you're at the very verge of getting knocked out. knocked down, sorry, towards the, well, the losers match, where you're going to be taking on the Croatian lineup to see which team will be eliminated first in Group A. Trades are coming through, the AKs are winning it out.
Even with the AKs, it seems like the duels are a bit too close for comfort. All-Stars, they're willing to do a lot of damage, and they've inflicted just that even when they were on those MP9s. And now with the M4s recovered, these duels are going to be very tough for LastWind to take. 1:15. They've got to find their way onto a bomb site now. Taking their sweet time. Hoping they can bait out a player individually, but if they do end up heading to A, it's probably not going to be the best of decisions because there is a lawnmower waiting on the other end. Two players are ready to mow them down with MP9. They've got an M4 in the mix as well. Now that only leaves two members remaining, one of which is hanging on by a thread. Sativo, he's got 1 point. MP9 at the ready. Perfect weapon to take care of him. Yeah,
okay.
Just not a chance.
Yeah, easy 4 kills for MHN with the MP9. That's a lot of money made. Now they'll even drop the AWP towards white. LastWind on 5 rounds will be possibly able to afford a couple of pistols. Could also go for full investment though. It is getting close to the final rounds here for that T side, who are, well, yeah, they're struggling. It's not as much of a blowout as we saw, of course, in the Blue Jays game, but it is definitely something fairly similar in how these two teams are handling each other.
Oh yeah, White's just... He quickly realizes that he's got a free shot at getting individual frags here. They've been isolated. They're not even willing to smoke him out. The smoke that always does have, it's really been left unused. And I think part of the reason for that is because he initially wanted to use it for the CT crossing, but then quickly realized that taking care of White was probably the pressing issue. But MHN coming in from the back lines. Yeah, not a chance they survive this, and they're quite sure on, about where that final player is going to be. They've been able to narrow him down to the Coffin's position. Can he get this 1v3 going? First shot connected, now the second one as well. He switches over, and he's got a chance. He's got a 3K, and he's saved the round for his team. LastWind, they hold on. Truman, do you have your mic muted by any chance?
I just talked a ton with my mic muted, so that is fairly unfortunate.
It's okay.
I was just talking about the fact that Awaz is, well, he's a pretty impressive player. And the fact that, well, his team is getting destroyed, but every single time he's the one that clutches them out if they necessarily need it. So that flash was perfect, but FNK finds a 2 instead. Oh, that looked like it was all one way, but it got bamboozled. They hit them with the no U card. And that is allStars putting themselves on towards 14.
I know the last one have been able to stick for a lot longer than Team Croatia did. But if you didn't have these individual fragging, this individual fragging coming out, like in the form of Aves, with Ryu getting a few nasty kills here and there, I think this would have been an uncompetitive affair as well. I feel like this could have been just the same, you know, yet another 16-3, yet another 16-2, something of that sort. But now, with allStars being only 2 rounds away from the finish line, I think LastWind are going to be the team that faces Croatia.
And well, in that case, who do you think will win between the All-Stars lineup and the Blue Jays?
The Blue Jays, you mean, oh, right, okay. Now that's interesting.
Personally, I think All-Stars would win that out. Even though I was very impressed with Blue Jays, I think All-Stars have just tons more experience behind them. Though the experience doesn't really work in this situation where they're pretty much overextending everywhere, giving LastWind another possible chance to stay alive. And you do have to be careful because All-Stars' economy is not the greatest currently.
If they've got any chance at bringing it back together, obviously being on the terrorist side is going to make it a lot easier, since worrying about economy isn't going to be the forefront of their issue. But on the other hand, it's simply too much of a lead. I don't expect LastWind to consistently dish out the kind of performance required, especially because the brunt of their because it's not like they're firing on all cylinders. The brunt of their performance is coming out from always. It's coming out from a few individual plays being made by Ryu, and that is really about it. And this 2-round margin might be a bit much.
Well, they only have 7 to go to tie it up, so have a little faith. Ours. No. If a player goes online on Inferno T side against the CT team, if you keep that economy low the entire time by just making sure they don't save any guns, it's definitely possible. It's not easy whatsoever. The question is, will LastWind be able to make something work, or is it just going to be a shutdown, aggressive flash coming out? Kills coming through. So even with the advantage, heavily aggressing forward, Ours does find the kill, but he's dropped down to 10 HP. And it's all on to Ours and Tui, still alive and kicking in the 2v3. But I must say that is some incredible hyper aggression coming out from the All-Stars CT side in towards Banana. Just, you know, getting tagged up, you find the kill, you find the trade, and then even going further in the push. Which, well, it did pay off, but I must say that was some next level aggression. Ooh, that's not nice. FNK trying to stay alive. Off angle, spots them both. FNK shuts it down. All-Stars on towards map point, and with that, they need one more against the 8 rounds that LastWind need to be able to secure to extend this one towards OT. All-Stars looking on the very verge to make sure that the next match we'll be covering will be Croatia versus LastWind. And that's also a matchup that I honestly would expect LastWind to win, because the only big difference that I've seen is the fact that they've got a very solid opera in their roster.
Yeah, just, I mean, sure, they've got that early entry frag going, but I want to see if they can carry it forward. They don't quite know that there's a player around the corner, but Sativo is going to be extra careful about it. They've gotten 3 frags on the B side. That is a clear telegraph to the idea that All-Stars have left it entirely barren. Molotov goes out, trying to clean out the cubby, but through the smoke, Alves will emerge and make that duel look oh so easy. White, last man standing, AWP in hand. And right now, he's got the duty to hold on to it. Continue with it to the next round. Perhaps he can show us some heroics when he eventually gets a chance to shine, but with his position now being given away, I think he's just waiting for extra points. You know, rack up as many kills as you can before you fall. I think he has enough of a lead that he trusts his team to be able to secure it. Yeah, he's just racking up the points now.
God, this is...
Nice shot.
So aggressively hopping right now. Love it. He's now top fragging in the game for his team, but still gets shot from the side. And Well, he at least made it hurt for the LastWind T side. Not that it really matters, considering they can't lose a single round at this point. And it's also not like he made any extra money, because he got 3 nice kills, which is great. The problem is you only get $100 per kill. So, yeah, you could have just killed someone with an AK and gotten the exact same amount.
Now,
Hello,
for a
mid-sack.
change, we actually see all-stars struggling with their own economy. LastWind have brought it close enough that once it gets to double digits, maybe I can start to have some hope for them. But even now, I think that the way all-stars are situated, or the kind of roster they have, just a sheer firepower advantage they've got, they could easily even get it done with just the deagles they've got available at their disposal. Heading on to the A site, LastWind are going to be walking into the worst site that they can possibly eventually end up in. And White immediately equalizes the numbers as soon as he loses his comrade.
Yeah, White running away, Khalil in hand, down to 13 HP. But this op, if it drops, Alwes doesn't know the off angle. Sound gets a deagle kill. And, well, 3 deagle kills so far secured for the side of allStars. This might just be the last round with that op in Sound's hands, because they need to cross that bomb towards the A site. And he's not getting any help. So Sidivo, if he goes for this peek up against Sound, he gets heavily tagged up, deagle in hand. Sound wants to take out that fight, but from behind comes White. We have all a lonely tack. 25 seconds left on the clock, needs to recover the bomb and get it planted, but there is Sound through the smoke, shuts it down.